With Raw about to start in an hour from Madison Square Garden and the WWF coming off the No Way Out pay-per-view with the intrigue of the retirement of Mick Foley and Shane McMahon returning to cost Rock his WrestleMania title shot, Nitro opened with Ced and Tank Abbott arriving with the announcers hyping a title match between them for the main event along with the possible return of Sting, with WCW setting up the Ced vs Jarrett title match at Uncensored. The second top match was announced 20 minutes into the show with Hogan cutting a backstage promo hyping an Indian strap match for the show. With Hogan more vocal in recent weeks in public interviews on the state of the company, including calling the Radicals group marks for the business and having a back-and-forth exchange with Perry Saturn, the lead member of the group, and Chris Benoit, who was the only one Hogan put over, saying that Benoit was a major loss to the company and deserved a bigger push, responded on his website saying that Hogan in his position should have been a leader and role model in the locker room but instead entered his private room and was only interested in how many segments he had on the show. With Rock, while being interviewed on the same radio show Hogan did a few days earlier, put over both Hogan and the Radicals, saying that he enjoyed working with the group and can see them being major players with them adjusting to the company, while praising Hogan as one of his favorites growing up and hinting at a future match, saying that he can see himself dropping the people's elbow on Hogan today. Nitro, coming from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, saw Curt Hennig return in his hometown to confront Flair and Luger, setting up a Flair vs Hennig match for later in the show, closing the first hour drawing a 3 rating with 3 matches back-to-back. With WCW, after having the deepest talent roster in history in the last few years, facing major injury problems with almost the entire top of the card injured and a depleted roster, 2 of the main ones in Goldberg and Steiner updated on their return in different ways in the past week, with Steiner after being suspended after cutting a shoot promo on Flair and confronting him in the parking lot the following day, had his lawyers meet with the company to set up his return in the next few weeks after Nash revealed in an interview that the company at one point wanted to suspend Steiner for 3 months, while Goldberg made several public appearances saying that the company is struggling in part because of injuries and things will pick up in the next 2 months. Nitro opened the first opposed quarter with a Jeff Jarrett vs Vampiro US title match going 5 minutes. And with the big interest on Raw drawing one of its lowest openings in history with a 2 rating. A day after retiring Mick Foley in a Hell in a Cell match, Triple H opened the second ever Raw from the Garden after the first one in September '97. Saying that he respects Foley more than anyone after their last 2 brutal matches, before introducing the tribute for him to end in a swerve of it being him mocking Foley in the video, bringing out Shane McMahon and Big Show, with Shane making his return last night after 3 months off TV to cost Rock the match, saying that he waited for the right moment to come back and align himself with someone on the way to WrestleMania, with the main event now set as Hunter vs. Show before Rock came out for the response. As Raw, coming off the big intrigue from the pay-per-view, saw the segment opening at near record levels with a 6.7 rating. After the lower than usual opening quarter, Nitro, still going against the huge audience for the Raw opening segment, stayed in the same 2 rating, being more than tripled by Raw in one of the lowest back-to-back quarters in Nitro history, with the quarter featuring mostly a David Flair vs Prince Iaukea match going 2 minutes. Rock said that he came out to congratulate all 4 in the ring and he's not gonna complain on Shane returning last night to cost him the match, as he guarantees that he's still going to the WrestleMania main event for the title, with Hunter responding that Rock had his chance and it's over, telling him that he's going back to the bottom of the ladder and booking him in a match against Brooklyn Brawler for later tonight, with Shane closing the promo with a hint of what's to come, saying that there's no chance in hell that Rock is going to WrestleMania, with the opening segment going 20 minutes, continuing with a 6.7 rating in the second quarter, which also featured the Acolytes vs Hardys tag match, one of the highest rated opening segments in Raw history. After being at near all-time low levels in the last 30 minutes, Nitro had its first boost of the night coming at 9:30 p.m. with the Flair vs Hennig bumping the show over 400,000 viewers to a 2.3 rating, going 4 minutes with Luger interfering for the finish, with Raw Against It having a Kurt Angle Open Challenge with Rikishi coming out for the match followed by Jericho, China the Radicals and Too Cool coming out for the post-match brawl. With the Beyond the Mat movie set to premiere in the next month, the WWF decided to distance itself from the movie with a press release saying that after viewing it the company decided to have no attachment to the film, with Vince McMahon reportedly taking off all advertising for the movie during Raw and SmackDown on USA and UPN, along with the marketers not allowed to use any WWF names to promote it. Nitro took 2 commercial breaks in its final quarter and featured mostly the Lex Luger vs Buff Bagwell match going 5 minutes, with the finish seeing Ric Flair interfering to set up the TV return of Sting, making his first Nitro appearance in 3 months, with him reportedly involved in a management dispute with the company over the product direction on and off screen, making the save for Bagwell with the Seed vs Tank Abbott match set to start at the top of the hour. Raw closed out the first hour with an Edge and Christian against Snow and Blackman tag match going 3 minutes, followed by the promoted Rock vs Brooklyn Brawler match, with Rock and Lombardi working against each other on a live Raw in the Garden in a rematch of what was Rock's first official WWF match almost exactly 4 years ago in March '96. Ending up with Rock squashing Brawler in a minute before taking the microphone saying that if Triple H vs Big Show is gonna headline at WrestleMania is gonna suck, calling out Triple H to the ring seconds from 10 p.m., with Raw's first hour drawing a 6.5 rating, almost tripling Nitro's second hour with a 6.5 to 2.2 rating margin. The entrances for the Seed vs Abbott main event took place already past 10 p.m., going 7 minutes in the overrun, jumping over 700,000 viewers to a head-to-head high 2.8 rating, ending with a surprise finish of Abbott tapping out clean after talks of him being built up as Goldberg's return opponent, with the idea of him being protected after dominating the match. While going against it, Raw crossed over the hour with the finish of the Rock segment calling out Hunter, Show and Shane to set up the main event, with Rock getting the final chance to get his WrestleMania shot back in a handicap match against Show and Hunter, with the second half of the quarter going unopposed featuring Perry Saturn vs Chris Jericho going 3 minutes, and a backstage segment of Billy Gunn being kicked out of DX to write him off television for the foreseeable future after suffering a serious rotator cuff injury in the past week, opening the second hour with a 6.5 rating. With the new TV format now going on for 2 months, which revealed almost on a weekly basis that both shows have an exclusive audience with no major crossover unless there's a special attraction, February 28 saw the first time that Raw not only not picked up from the over 3.5 million viewers watching the Nitro finish, but actually drew the same rating it did in the opposed hour, with both doing 6.5 ratings due to the huge first 30 minutes viewership for the pay-per-view follow-up. although the second hour still had more viewers due to the main event with a 7.5 to 7.6 million viewers margin. Raw had two matches in the next half hour of Chris Benoit vs Taz and X-Pac now teaming with Road Dogg after Billy Gunn's injury against the Dudleys for the tag belts, while throughout the two quarters had an infamous comedy angle of Mae Young being injured and giving birth to a hand backstage in the Garden. Raw opened the final quarter with a tribute video package for Mick Foley's career, with Foley after breaking through in the past 2 years as one of the top performers and biggest stars of the WWF boom period, ending his full-time in-ring career as one of the most respected performers in industry history, with the video ending to a standing ovation from the New York crowd. The Rock vs. Triple H and Big Show handicap match went 7 minutes, gaining over 1.1 million viewers to a peak 7.2 rating in a match hyped as Rock's final chance to get back in the Mania title match, ending with Rock having the match won until Shane interfered for the DQ finish to cost him the shot, continuing the twists on the way to the pay-per-view, going in a different direction to the expected Rock vs. Triple H singles match with Austin and Foley out of the picture 5 weeks from the event, as Raw on the back of a near-record opening segment and main event pickup after the last 2 weeks of first being out of its time slot and then regaining momentum, rebounded big to a 6.5 rating.